What happens when you meet the love of your life, but you're already married? No. Now, what can happen if someone starts another family without first properly ending the marriage?
Parang may naaalala ako diyang kanta, Atty. Ramon.
Yung kanta na yan, alam ko na yan. Oh, it's sad to belong to someone else. Right one. Tama ba?
Oo, naalala ko rin eh.
Alright, that's England Dan.
While having multiple families is generally not acceptable in our society, we seem to always hear this happening around us anyway. Our gossip magazines and websites are full of stories ranging from our favorite actors all the way to our politicians. Regardless of the reasons or justifications, regardless of your personal or even religious beliefs on this matter, the law will have something to say about that. There will be legal effects to this situation which cannot be swept under the rug and healed through time. So our question for today comes from Joy, which is not her real name.
It's not her real name,
because she asked to remain anonymous. And she writes, Attorney, maybe you can help us.
Yeah. Attorney, lagyan natin ng ano yan. Parang letter yan from a writer.
Sige, para mas ma-feel din ng mga
background music.
Attorney, maybe you can help us. Our mom and dad have been together for 37 long years and they have 3 kids. My dad met my mom when they were OFWs and they were both stationed in Riyadh. They are still in love now as they were when they first started dating. They are so happy in love together and there is no denying that they are each other's soulmate. But attorney, there is a bit of a hitch.
May hitch. Ano yung hitch, attorney?
My dad was married for 2 years to another woman and they had 2 kids. My dad claims that he was only forced to marry her because he got her pregnant, but they were never compatible.
Wow.
They split but never formalized anything. My dad was already separated from his original wife long before he met my mom. My dad is in contact with the original family and we are civil with each other. But I heard that the original wife still has bad feelings against my dad and his new family. Should we be worried? If you or anyone in your family is in a similar situation as Joy, stick around as we discuss this interesting story.
This video was brought to you by the Estate Settlement Guide, the fastest way to orient surviving family members when a loved one passes away. You will learn the basics of succession to know who can inherit and how much. It will guide you through the next steps your family needs to take so you don't incur penalties and you transfer the property to the heirs properly. Protect your family legacy. Avoid unnecessary penalties. Go to info.legalguide.ph/estate to learn more.
Welcome to Legal Guide Philippines, where we simplify the law to help you make better choices. I'm Attorney Erwin Zagala and I'm with my partner,
Attorney Ramon Ramirez.
So today, we're talking about second families and their legal effects on estates and succession.
Okay. Sige, game. So first, let's talk about this story. Let's set the context first. No? So ano ba na yung nangyari dito, Attorney Erwin? So we have Joy's dad and mom. Okay, so she's part of the second family. So what happened? Let's put names to them. So the dad, let's call him Mario, and let's call the original wife Julie. All right. So Mario and Julie, they were married for 2 years. They had 2 kids. Okay.
2 kids.
Yes. Okay. I guess at some point the marriage broke down and they separated without doing anything. So they didn't have their marriage annulled or all these other modes of separating. So wala lang.
Ginost lang.
Yeah. Nag-ghostan lang sila. And 2 years later, if we're reading it correctly, 2 years later, Mario meets Anna while he was an OFW, maybe. Okay. And he found a soulmate in Anna.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And they had several kids. I think 3 kids, 2 or 3 kids. And very clearly they were very happy with each other. They were soulmates, and they've been together for I think 30 plus years, 37 years.
Doon tumagal.
Yes, and for all intents, ito na yung partner niya for life, no, si Anna, and very happy family sila. And also that there's still or Mario is still in contact with his previous wife because he has kids with the previous wife. And they're civil with each other. The families know each other, but that's it. Okay. And then si Joy, our writer, she hears a rumor that probably it looks like there's still ill feelings from Julie against the dad, and she's worried what happens. And my dad is old already. What will happen?
Sad to belong.
Sad to belong ang song na yan. Okay? So now let's tackle Joy's concern. No? Joy is most likely concerned about what happens if her dad dies all of a sudden, and what are their rights? What are her rights? What are the rights of her mom, Anna? Diba? And what are the rights of Julie and her kids?
I think the point of concern is being the second family, they are illegitimate kasi.
Yes.
So anong effect nun legally on inheritance?
Right. So in this case, let's talk about what happens if Mario dies today. I think he's still alive naman, no? But if Mario dies today without any planning, what will happen? Okay? So first, since we're talking about estates and successions, we first determine who are the heirs. Okay? Who are the heirs? So before we go and talk about the heirs, let's talk about something we've been talking about in previous lessons and even in our articles. Who are, Attorney Erwin, who are the VIPs of succession?
These are whom you call compulsory heirs.
Yes. Okay. Now, so we need to think about who are the VIPs of succession or the compulsory heirs. Who are these guys? They are the people who inherit whatever happens. Okay, and that's why we call them VIP. So who are these in particular?
Kasi VIP kasi kahit anong mangyari kasama sila sa usapan.
Kasama sa usapan, attorney. And sino kaya mga ito? Of course, if you remember our previous lessons, first is legitimate children and descendants as well. So anong ibig sabihin yan? Anak, okay, and or those na pababa. Okay? Direct line, pababa. Okay? So that means anak, apo is also direct line. Yan. In another set of VIPs are the parents naman, legitimate parents and ascendants. Okay, pataas.
Okay.
All right. And of course, we have the surviving spouse, the widow or the widower, and we also include illegitimate children.
So you mean to say, Attorney Ramon, kasama talaga ang illegitimate children?
Kasama mga illegitimate.
Compulsory heirs.
Yes,
okay.
They are compulsory heirs. Now, just to give you a review, now, if there is no will, then definitely these persons, these people will be given priority and they will exclude other relatives. Okay? The law, that's why they're VIPs. No? Kasama sila sa usapan. And hindi lang yan, the law reserves a minimum inheritance for a portion of the estate that they should receive.
VIP na VIP.
VIP yan. May hindi pwedeng magalaw yung minimum nila. Okay? And what do we call this minimum, Attorney Erwin?
It's the legitime.
Legitime. Okay? That is the legitime. So please remember that, guys. Okay, now some basic rules. Now, in our situation, in this situation, Mario will die, let's say, walang will. Intestate. We call that intestate. So, some rules, legitimate descendants will eliminate ascendants. So, if may anak, may eliminate ang parents.
So, pag meron pababa, wala nang pataas.
Yes.
Okay. Dito na.
Yes. And since they eliminate ascendants, they'll also eliminate collateral relatives. Sino ba yung mga collateral relatives, Attorney Erwin?
Yun yung patagilid.
Patagilid. That's right. So, ascendants taas, descendants pababa, patagilid or pabunga, pasanga. These are collateral relatives.
Ano ba ang sample ng mga collateral para mas maintindihan nila?
Kapatid.
Ayun,
kapatid.
Yun.
Yes. Tita, tito, pinsan. These are collateral relatives. Okay? Of course, one of the rules also is that a surviving spouse will also inherit along with his or her children.
So kahit na merong pababa, automatic kasama yung spouse.
Yes, kasama yung spouse. Which makes sense because they're VIPs, and the law will assume na mahal nung decedent, yung namatay, mahal niya yung kanyang spouse. Okay, so now that we talked a little bit about these basic rules, let's apply to the situation of Anna and Julie and Mario.
Ito na.
Ito na. Okay. So who are be the heirs, Attorney Erwin?
Well, dalawang pamilya,
Mhm.
di ba?
Yes.
So, definitely yung mga anak muna. Pag-usapan natin.
Yes.
Ayan.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
kasama
matik
yung mga
yan.
anak.
Mhm.
The legitimate children
Mhm.
and the illegitimate children.
Yes.
And
Automatic yan.
then, sinabi dun kanina, di ba, surviving spouse.
Mhm.
So, the wife in the first legitimate marriage, kasama yun, tingin ko, Attorney Ramon, tama ba?
That's correct, Attorney Erwin.
Mhm.
So, to recap, it's the legitimate children. So, yung dalawang children ni Julie.
Mhm.
Okay, from the first marriage.
The
And
first
then-
legitimate marriage.
Yes, the first legitimate
yeah.
marriage. Kasi si Mario and si Anna, they're not married.
Yes.
Okay, so of course, yung mga anak ni Anna and Mario, they're illegitimate children because they were born outside of wedlock. Hindi kasal si Mario and si Anna. Okay, so they're illegitimate children. And of course, the surviving spouse. Now, in this case, who is the surviving spouse, Attorney Erwin?
Yung unang marriage.
Yes, yung una, because based on our story, they didn't do anything to nullify their marriage.
So, insofar as the law is concerned, tuloy-tuloy lang na yun
Tuloy-tuloy.
yung kasal niya.
Even if
Talaga.
hindi sila magkasama, they didn't grow old together, even if it's, 37 years, you know? Now, I have a question, Attorney Ren. Isn't it unfair na ganun? 37 years together, happy with the soulmate. Mario and Anna, soulmates. And yet, hindi kino-consider si Anna.
Well, some people might think it unfair. However, if you look at it from the other perspective naman, parang unfair din na yung legitimate na marriage, bigla mong ida-downgrade kasi ito yung kasama.
Yeah.
So for me, the law opted to stay with ano ba yung, what did you enter into? What marriage did you enter into? And kung sakaling you're not happy with your marriage, then you should do something about it.
Yes.
Diba? Since you didn't, the law presumes that this is the one that you intended to recognize and uphold.
Tama. Again, guys, the law is the law. We are a jurisdiction. We are a country that follows the law. Okay? And sabi nga nung professor natin, si Justice Leonen, diba? Well, we learned from him, Duralex sed lex, which is the law may be harsh, but it is the law.
Until such time that the law is changed, we have to follow this.
Yes.
And this is not to invalidate the other points of view. Definitely, there are good points made there. However, as lawyers, we are duty bound to stick to what the law says.
Correct, Attorney Erwin. So, now that we know who the heirs are, so wala si Anna, no? Sad to say, wala si Anna. It's just the kids and si Julie. Okay, now that we know who the heirs are, ano naman yung sharing nila, Attorney Erwin?
So, to be clear, kasama sila as compulsory heirs, pero it doesn't necessarily mean na pare-pareho yung shares.
Yes,
Tama, Attorney Ramon?
correct, Attorney Erwin. Now, what we are applying here are called intestate rules, or yung sharing rules under intestate succession. Okay? Guys, there are so many rules. Okay? So we will just apply what is before us. No? Kasi it will take so long if we're going to discuss everything. So in this case, the legitimate children, they will definitely get 1/2 of Mario's estate. Okay? Yung mamanahin nila kalahati kagad. Okay? So ilan sila? Dalawa? So,
itong dalawang to, hati dun sa 50%.
Yes. So, tig 25% sila or tig 1/4 sila. Okay? Now, another rule in intestate succession says that the spouse will get the same share as his or her legitimate children. So, ilan ang share ni
Diba, ito kanina.
Yan, oh.
Tapos 1/2.
Kalahati.
Diba?
Oh, ito
Ito
yan.
yung mga bata.
Oh, kanila yan.
Tig
Tig 1/4.
1/4.
Yeah.
Okay. So, kung pareho ng share, 1/4 din ang makukuha ng surviving spouse.
Ni Julie.
Yes.
Okay. So, what about the illegitimate children?
Okay. Under the civil code, illegitimate children are entitled to get 1/2 of what a legitimate child would get.
Yes, correct. Okay, so now, what if, so very clear, no? Sa 1/2, hati yung dalawang legitimate children. Si surviving spouse, si Julie gets 1/4. Ngayon, dun sa matitira, each of the illegitimate children will get 1/2 the share. Okay, of the legitimate children.
So now, natira na lang is 1/4, di ba?
Yes. Oh.
Okay.
So what happens now if mas marami yung kids. Yung illegitimate children.
So,
Hindi na kasya.
kasi pinaghahatian nila yung
1/4
1/4,
na lang.
diba?
Mhm.
Ang sabi sa civil code, they have to reduce proportionately.
Yes.
Kailangan pagkasyahin nila dun sa 1/4.
Yeah, so hati-hati sila sa 1/4 na yon. Okay? So just and that that's in the annotations of our civil code. Okay? So, now that we're clear, no, si Ana wala pa rin. Wala pa rin. So now that we're clear with these percentages, okay, guys, now there are a lot of other percentages and scenarios and mix and matches of paano kung 5 yung anak, 2 yung asawa, hindi naman, or stuff like that, no? And that's all found in the civil code. And if you would like to learn more about that, you can check out our workshop called the Estate Settlement Guide. So to go there, you just go to info.legalguide.ph/estate. Okay, now that's if you want to learn more about how these sharings go. Kasi your situation might not be the same as Ana, Mario, and Julie. All right? So, now that we know the sharing, is that it? Wala pa rin si Ana, Attorney Erwin. Is that it? Wala nang chance si Ana.
Well, what can Mario do to protect Ana? Kasi tingin ko na kay Mario na yung bola rito. What do you think?
And it makes sense, Attorney Erwin, kasi like for all intents and purposes, Mario was with Ana. His life was really with Ana already.
30
Diba?
years.
30, yeah, 37 years, diba? And then all of a sudden, just because he neglected to end his marriage with Julie, magsasuffer naman yung second family niya, which nandun yung heart and soul niya, right? So what do we do to protect Ana, or how can Mario protect Ana? Well, the first thing that Mario can do is to look for a professional, okay, and discuss some possible angles to protect her.
I think that makes sense kasi this is too technical na.
Yes.
Para DIY.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, or to get that info from just this show. Okay, Mario will have to look for a professional and discuss these angles. Usually, these professionals are lawyers. I'm not sure if there are other kinds of professionals who deal with this, but in our experience, they are usually lawyers. Okay. Now, what are the things that Mario can discuss with this professional to protect kung paano niya ipoprotect si Ana. So there are a lot of ways that a professional may try, lot of ways or strategies for him to be able to protect Ana. So one is, again, this can go any which way, depending on the circumstances of Mario and Ana. But one possibility is they can explore voiding the marriage. Okay?
So yun yung aatakihin.
Yes.
Yung marriage na una.
Yes. Anyway, habang buhay pa. Okay, hindi pa touch move. All right? So they can try to do that. And of course, the things that they need to consider is, are there grounds are there legal grounds for the annulling the marriage or voiding the marriage? Okay?
Professional talaga kailangan dito.
Yes. Hindi pwedeng
DIY.
Haka-haka yan. Oo. Okay? And then after the marriage is annulled or voided, then he can marry Ana. And everything should be good. Diba? Another way of protecting Ana is possibly putting Ana in a will. In his will.
So instead of marriage, titignan mo naman will.
Yes. Ngayon, but there are considerations there, no? If you do it by will, because like I said, there's what we call the legitim, and that has to be protected. And Mario will be limited to giving whatever he will give to Ana is limited to what is the free portion. Okay, so the free portion is what is yung natira from the legitim. Okay, doon na makukuha yun.
So, Attorney Ramon, medyo technical again ito.
Again,
we would recommend consulting a professional for this.
Exactly. Okay, but again, these are things that they can think about, okay, or start discussing with a professional. And last, the possibility of making sure that it's clear on documentation or whatever that Ana co-owns some of the assets.
Iba namang angulo yan.
Okay.
But again, it can be technical.
Yes, very much. No, but again, starting point. Use this as a starting point, and to get your mind working, and at least you have something to talk about when you look for your professional. Okay. Now, guys, there are many other ways of how to protect Ana. Okay, but the bottom line is, if nothing is done, it will be very difficult to protect her. And if Mario dies, wala na. The situation that we saw wherein Anna gets nothing and the first family gets almost everything. Yun ang mangyayari.
I have an idea here.
Okay.
If talagang soulmate niya itong si Ana, I think it's Mario's responsibility to act on this. Hindi pwedeng ibaliwala ito.
I agree.
Kasi if something happens to Mario, kawawa yung family.
Yes.
Kinalakihan na niya for 37 years.
Yes.
So, Attorney Ramon, we discussed a lot of things. Do you mind if I do a recap for you?
No, absolutely.
Okay. So, first point is, in case Mario dies today, what will happen? Lumalabas po that we need to identify the compulsory heirs. And lumalabas, the legal wife is still an heir. Not to worry naman for the kids kasi lahat naman sila kasama. Although, magiging iba-iba lang yung sharing. Now, point number 2 that we talked about is ano-ano naman yung sharing na yon, diba? So, first point is kalahati automatic ng estate that's reserved for the legitimate children. And the illegitimate children are entitled to receive 1/2 of whatever a legitimate child would be getting. Although maghahati-hati sila sa free portion. Yung surviving spouse naman is also entitled to an equal share comparable to a legitimate child. So, yung dalawang legitimate children, hati sila sa 1/2. May 1/4 na lalabas para sa surviving spouse. And then dun sa 1/4, hati-hati yung illegitimate children.
Right.
Okay? Now, number 3, the point that we discussed is there any chance for Anna and her family? And the answer is, it's too technical. Please consult a professional so that you guys can find ways to protect your interests at this point.
For most of you, this lesson was more than enough. And if it makes your life easier, then you're welcome. But there are some of you who will watch this video and end up asking even more questions. Questions like, Attorney, what if there are more children involved? Iba na yung sharing. Diba? Or, Attorney, what happens if the heirs cannot agree? Pwede rin mangyari yun. Or, Attorney, what if there are no children but Mario's parents are still alive? There's so many questions. Now, if that's you, then we invite you to check out the Estate Settlement Guide Workshop. It's not a book, guys. It's a workshop wherein in as little as an hour, we give you a crash course on succession law and a general roadmap of the entire estate settlement framework. With this guide, you will know exactly where you are in the process, regardless of whether you are doing it on your own or if you've hired someone to assist you. Now, you can access this workshop at info.legalguide.ph/estate today.
Now, to add to that, if you want us to tackle your question in our show, go to www.legalguide.ph and click the Submit Topic button. Next, we'd like to know what's your biggest takeaway from today's video, so please write it down in the comments and let's talk about it. Last, if you feel we've earned a good rating, please give us a like and subscribe because it gives us feedback that we're doing a good job and it encourages us to do more videos.
Now, one last thing, guys. We all want to protect our loved ones. In protecting them, there are many issues and problems which we can foresee. Mario and Anna's situation is something that they can definitely foresee and do something about. But in taking steps to prevent a problem, we usually focus on what? What it will cost to take action. Now, how much money it will cost us, how much time we will consume on this, and even how much effort it will take us. Many times, though, we don't think of the cost of inaction. What happens if you do not take action? We believe that the cost of inaction is just as, if not even more important than the cost of action. Weigh these two sides of the coin, then decide to take action. Or not. It's your choice. So wasn't that simple? Now go make better choices.